Hello YouTube, I got something different for you today. I have an owner of a GT350 who's going to tell you some things about it. Plus, this is new today, it's an interview. We're going to look at some things about the car, and the story of this car is very, very interesting. This is Anthony, and go ahead and tell them your channel, Anthony.
My channel's name is AV's Garage. It's simply just my initials and then Garage.
And I'm going to link that down in the description below. He's very technical. He's a good mechanic. He's some good content on there. So tell me a little bit about the car. The car has a unique story, right?
It absolutely does. We'll just start with the basics. This is a 2016 Shadow Black Shelby GT350. It's got the track package in it. I'll go from there. It's been lightly modified, nothing too crazy like power added or anything. I actually love this car. The way it comes just from the factory, honestly, it's in a sense, it's perfect. The only things I've done to it is just to more enhance the experience and make it more of be able to better handle on the track and be better set up for that, because that's what I enjoy doing with this car. It's what it's made to do. It's got the 5.2 liter flat plane crank Voodoo V8 engine in it, 6-speed manual transmission. So it's a perfect driver's car, checks all the enthusiast boxes, and sounds absolutely fantastic.
I met you at a car meet. We learned we both did YouTube. Decided to collab. I'm glad we did so, because this is going to be probably a new thing for me to do interviews. You get out and do a lot in your car, and I tell you, the exhaust does sound good. We talked about it and you liked it. I noticed as we're sitting here, you changed the tires, right? The tires have been changed?
I've done the...
I didn't know Michelin came stock on GT350s.
Yeah. I've done the R springs and sway bars, which is the 350R that has different springs and sway bars, stiffer. I've done the studs. I've done the axle back Orla exhaust, and then really the oil separators, and that's it. I have another set of wheels and tires that I try to do more so for events or tracking, because they've got a super sticky set of Michelin Cup 2 tires on them, and they're not really good for they're fine on the street, just they wear very fast, so, and they're expensive, so I try to save it for special, more or less events. But yeah, these are the stock wheels and tires. All GT350s come with Michelins, whether it's 2015 through 2019 came with Pilot Super Sports. The R has always come with Cup 2s.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted on my car. Yeah, definitely the Cup 2s.
I mean, it's good for tracking, like as far as like road coursing. I don't know about drag.
Well, not for drag, of course, but just having hook on the road a little bit. They actually hook a lot better than the ones that came with the I just own a rental GT, and I own a Shelby.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely hook. But you definitely don't want to be tailgating one either, because they throw every single rock and pebble that you run over.
Very soft tires, yeah. Yeah, I can feel that. And one thing I love about your car is that you actually use it for what it's made to be used for. A lot of people buy GT350s around here, and they'll throw a blower on it, and they'll throw power hours on it, they'll throw NOS on all this. They throw everything at it, right? And then they go drag race it. And you are keeping it a road course car, which I will probably go and see your taillights at the road course soon.
And that's another thing I've changed on the car. This has OEM European Ford taillights.
And I will get pictures of that. They are beautiful. They actually are. I want the same taillights. I don't know why we didn't get that option here in America, right?
Yeah, it probably has something to do with DOT.
Yeah, but, even though they light up red, they look great.
I mean,
in Florida we don't, really.
I think they look especially good on the black car because they're clear. The lens housing and back or whatever we call it, the housing. It's the same color black as the rest of the trims of the car, so it literally just looks like taillights sitting back there. Or it's not like a separate piece. They stand out whether they're on or off. But I also goes with the story of the car. That's one of the modifications I've done that just goes with the story.
What made you get this specific model then?
Okay. So this specific model has been in my family since new. My father was the first owner. Back in October of 2014 is when I saw the S550 chassis in person for the first time, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I've come from a Ford family. So 6 months later, I got a 2015 race red performance pack Mustang GT. I loved that car. I really didn't do anything to it other than exhaust on it. I loved it. The only thing I hated was the wheels on it that come with the performance packs. They're very difficult to clean, and they're black, so they show everything. But I love that car. I had it for 17,000 miles. Gave me no issues. Happy with it. Really, I don't think I plan to do anything suspension-wise to it for a while. I want to get some more aero on the car to give it a little bit more downforce and stick to the road better, because I think that's what it's missing at this point. It doesn't need any more power. You feel that on the street and the track. Maybe on the street you feel a little bit less power, but on the track when you're winding it out, you don't feel the need for more power. I mean, it's 526 naturally aspirated, and when you're on the track, you're always in the power. I mean, and it's got a lot of room to use it. So
long RPM band.
Oh yeah, it's very tall gears. I mean, that's where it's made to be. But yeah, so suspension-wise, I think it's fine. It takes better advantage of I have another set of wheels and tires specifically for the track. It takes advantage of the stickier rubber, and it handles like a dream. I mean, the S550 already took the handling. That was the biggest improvement from the S197 to the S550, was the handling of the car. You go from the solid rear axle to the independent rear suspension, and that was like the perfect way to debut this car. I mean, this car is a road course car, and the old Boss 302, it handled great on the track, but whenever you got over uneven terrain, some corners, that rear axle sometimes didn't like it. This one chews up the corners and spits them out. I mean, it's a fun car to drive.
So you're definitely you would say you're a Ford loyalist maybe, or a Shelby more, enthusiast.
Oh man, if I had to pick one or the other, I would say I'm probably a Ford loyalist. I come from a family of Fords. Shelby's just kind of like an added bonus of being part of that. Anything that Carroll Shelby has ever had his hands on, I'm a fan of, really. I mean, even Vipers and whatnot. But I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times before he passed away. It's been almost May of this year will be 10 years. No, May of this year will be 9 years since he passed away. I'll always remember that day. It's like May. It was like the first week of May. I don't know the exact day, but I always remember that. It's just one of those people that just, if you're an enthusiast, especially of performance cars, I mean, it's someone that you know of, whether you're like a different brand or whatnot. You know who Carroll Shelby is and what he represents and what he did. I mean, first American to win overall at Le Mans.
On nitroglycerin.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, Ford loyalist, but Shelby enthusiast as well. I mean, as far as the car goes, you spoke about the power adder and everything. As far as this car goes, I'm more of a purist. Using the car for its intended purpose, like I said, you don't feel the need for more power. If you want to throw a power adder on it, by all means, go ahead and do it. But I really think this car is so balanced. Too much power upsets that balance. And when you're on the track, you want to be balanced. Your job as a driver is to not only put down a fast lap time, but to manage grip. And too much power, especially this rear-wheel drive, it upsets that quite a bit. So, and it wasn't made to do that. So I mean, if you're going to upgrade the power, you got to do a lot of suspension modifications and aero modifications to keep the car on the ground and moving forward and not just spinning.
It's probably one of his best quotes, right?
What?
You can't have too much horsepower. You just can't get enough traction, right, or something like that. Yeah.
Carroll Shelby, yeah. There's no such thing as not enough horsepower.
I thought you were leading up to it. Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I was. You know, I didn't. That's a great catch right there.
You've done an amazing interview the whole time, so I thought you were leading up to that.
Yeah.
All right, that's fantastic. There's one question though that I think we didn't get answered. This car left the States.
Yes, that is part of the story of this car and why I intend on keeping it and holding on to it. So when my father had the car, he was fortunate to go in on a trip with him and 3 other Shelbys. It's a very exclusive event that only 4 people, 4 cars participated in. His was the only GT350. So at that time, we knew for sure, and possibly even 3 years later, this is the only GT350 that has been purchased in the States, exported to Europe, and come back.
That's amazing.
It was over there for 2 weeks, saw 7 or 8 different countries while I was over there. Obviously all the great European roads. It went to Le Mans. It didn't go obviously on the track. You know, you can't go on the track at Le Mans, but it has been to Le Mans. In France, it's been to Normandy. It's been to the Swiss Alps. I mean, just...
Geez, this car's got more stamps than my passport.
Yeah, it matches mine. I mean, it really does. I mean, but
You want to take it? You want to take it back?
oh, of course.
You want to take it where you can drive it somewhere?
Absolutely,
I bet,
absolutely.
yeah.
I was supposed to go on that trip, but unfortunately, due to military service, I wasn't able to go. I had already bought my tickets and everything, and then about 6 weeks before we were supposed to leave, I had to cancel. So
You guys make sure you subscribe to AB's Garage for technical stuff. But I have one more question for you. And this one is what everybody's going to want to know when they're looking, right? Tell me 3 things you hate about this GT350 or a GT350 that's similar.
well, for this one specifically, in the 2015 and 2016s, you had to compromise. They offered a track package and a more or less a luxury package. They called it the tech package. There were a lot of differences between the two, and this is for the 2015 and 2016 only. In 2017, they made the track package standard. The track package came with oil coolers for the oil, diff, transmission oil, the magnetic dampers, a different rear wing, the cloth Recaro seats, but the detracting factor was the basic interior. It has the S550 base calculator style infotainment, which when you're driving the car on the track, you don't care about that. But that's probably my biggest, part of the car that I would like to change, but just for the cost of it, I can do things to make the car go faster or handle better. So it's an afterthought. I almost just want to rip the whole thing out and just, get rid of it. But because I hardly ever use the radio at all anyway. So, why have it there? I more or less just have it hooked up to my phone and Bluetooth a call. But even then, I've got the rear seats out of the car. I've got a little bit of a louder exhaust. The entire back end is completely, all the sound deadening's gone, so it's hard to hear anything already. So I almost just want to take it all out. But yeah, first thing would be I'm not hitting the interior, just the infotainment part of it. I love the Recaro seats, the cloth Recaro seats. Leather ones, they tend to get too hot. You slip and slide a little bit. These are nice cloth, Alcantara mix, suede, awesome seats. And the bolsters are insane. Like I'm a pretty skinny guy. If you get much bigger than me, they start to hug you pretty tight. But so they're perfect for me. So that's the first thing. The second thing, wish I could change about the car or any car really like this. Just the fact that it has an odometer. I wish I could drive this car all the time, every day, 7 days a week. It's just that much of a fun car to drive. I enjoy every second of it. Every short trip, I've traveled. When I bought this car from my father, I drove it 1,000 miles down from Ohio. I've done some driving in it, and yes, racking up the miles. Long term, is it going to hurt the car's value? Of course, but time is going to hurt the car's value to a certain extent, maybe. In 2007, where I almost became a Corvette person because my dad, he was looking at a 2007 GT500 or a blue GT500 or a yellow Z06. He went with the GT500, and from there, it was Ford.
I owned the C6 Corvette.
Yeah, that was a C6.
Yeah, I didn't. It wasn't a Z06. It was just a Z71, but it was just lowered and then I wanted an 07 when they came out with the Shelby GT. So first started catching my eye with Ford was the I Am Legend car, the 07 red white stripe Shelby GT500 going down the streets of New York. Yeah. The dogs in the car. So your car's signed here.
It is. So while I was over in Europe, Billy Johnson, who was a driver at the time of the number 66 Ford GT, signed this car. He drove the 2016 competition version of the GT350 in the IMSA Continental Tire Challenge Series. And him and his co-driver, Scott Maxwell, won the championship in the car's first year of competition. I'm still working on getting Scott to sign the car. Sometimes it's hard to track down these drivers. They're very busy. But Billy Johnson is a Ford Performance, or he was. I think he's changed a little bit now, but at the time he was helping engineer and design and develop all the Ford Performance vehicles from the Raptor, GT350, GT500, and the Ford GT itself.
And you have another signature that the last name says Shelby. Who's that?
That's Aaron Shelby. So again, while the car was in Europe, Aaron Shelby was part of this event, and he signed the car as well.
What a cool story. What a cool car. And we're going to get you some more video of it and some flybys.